So welcome to our special guest, Professor Joy, and we are so happy to have you on the Getting Real with Sabeeta and Mireille show. My name is Mireille Tulekima. I'm one of the hosts of this show. You've seen me probably everywhere. I have another show. I do a lot of empowerment work internationally, and my background is actually in engineering. So I'm looking at the whole spectrum. I'm also an entrepreneur and do a lot of things. But it's not about me today. It's going to be about Professor. But over to you first, Habita, to introduce Professor to our audience.
My esteemed colleague, Marie and Professor Joy. Good morning, beautiful ladies. I look across the screen and I'm just beaming with joy because it's just so much sunshine here. Good
Mhm.
morning, my queens. Mariel is a woman I look up to because she has inspired and mentored me in so many ways. Mariel, I'm always thankful. I'm always proud to be associated with you in the work that you do. Professor Joy and I, we found each other through Mariel, and I must say, Professor Joy is doing some amazing work in her part of the world, and I'm not going to say too much. I'm going to leave that up to her. But I admire the light she's touching, and she's a pure humanitarian, and she does it from a good place. There are no personal motives in some of the things I've seen her do for kids and women, and those are areas that are very special to both Mariel and I, children and women. And Professor Joy, it is our pleasure to have you on our show. We thank you for all that you're doing for the society, and we want to hear more about it. So, without further ado, please welcome Professor Joy.
We lost our
I think
professor,
we lost
but
the professor, but I'll be honest, these are some of the fun things about technology, isn't it, Maria?
exactly. Technology can sometimes really, abandon us, and we need to be ready for, anything. She will be back. She will be back,
She
and
will definitely be
we
back.
we gotta beat the technology today, and
So
so.
while we wait on Professor Joy, Marie, I've been seeing a lot of stuff you're doing. Tell me about Women's Day and some of the stuff you're involved in, and let's tell people what's out there. How about that?
So she is back and
Oh,
just on time to talk about,
and she's having fun with it. See, back with a smile.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, remember when we had the program on resilience on the Friday night, and this kept happening, So
It was testing our resilience on that Friday night hangout, but we persevered, and we're going to do the same.
we're
yes,
gonna
yes.
do the same today, so we're not gonna give up, definitely. So, Professor, please introduce yourself to the audience. Let us know, about the great thing that you're doing. Especially humanitarian and much more, because we know that there's so much that you do, and we really want the audience to have an idea and really appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Meryl, for having me. Thank you, Sabita. I'm really excited to be on this show.
We're gonna beat the technology. We gotta
We
beat
will
the
fight for it.
technology.
So
We will fight
guys,
for it.
for most of you, Professor Joy is out in Nigeria, and there
Mhm,
are a number of spotty areas, and sometimes that does happen. So
mhm.
please bear with us. We're still seeing our sister there, so we know she's there. So
Mhm.
Marie, while we get it back up, tell us about some of the stuff you're doing right now and the direction you're headed. Because I'm always so impressed by what you're involved in.
So I've been doing a lot of work, speaking in on different platforms, sharing my story, which is more about empowering other women, and help them, help to share my strategies and everything that I've done to be able to to get where I am. and also make sure that people understand that it all starts with them, and whatever I've been able to accomplish they can do, and they can even do better. So that's
Right.
that's really the message that I keep carrying in. I also spend a lot of time talking about the SDGs, which is about making sure that we leave nobody behind. I had a show just now before this
I
one,
saw that a little
talking
bit.
about talking about disabled, empowering the disabled, and also the underprivileged in India. I mean, Sharmila was my guest. She's amazing. She's disabled herself, but she's never given up. So, and she's been helping the disabled community, working with the government, working with different private institution, making sure that they have a place in the community and in the world. And she's been doing tremendous, and she's not done. So it's just so inspiring to see that. And that's the kind of thing that I like, because for me it's about showing people that they can do whatever they want. It's just a matter of being resilient, and also learning from other people, because that's key, and
Yeah.
so that they can start in a better place, than
So, so I'm really happy that you had that show this morning because it builds on something. I was in a principal's conclave last night.
Mm-hmm,
Well, last night my time, which was daytime India,
mm-hmm,
and we
mm-hmm,
were addressing over 100 principals across India
mm-hmm,
because India has something called a national education policy where they have a goal by the year 2040 to transform education across India,
mm-hmm,
including rural Indias. And I was asked to give an outsider's perspective on that
mm-hmm,
policy, meaning look at what are the plans and how does it stack up to where I worked in Australia, the
mm-hmm,
Caribbean,
mm-hmm,
Asia, and here in the US from an educational standpoint. And that that group that you addressed this morning is the
mm-hmm,
underprivileged group, the specially challenged group. They were not even considered in that new education policy.
mm-hmm,
Totally overlooked. And I actually pushed back and said, this is something that is important. If we
mm-hmm,
want to create equal opportunity, equal employment, if diversity is important to everyone, we
mm-hmm,
have to recognize that we have uniqueness and
mm-hmm.
we have great advantages in our differences, and we have to play to our strengths despite our differences. So those are some of the things I'm really happy when I see you do things like that. Now I did join for a bit and then I lost power and I tried to
Mm-hmm.
catch up, but I look at the replay. But I think that's
Mm-hmm.
really good work, and I know my friend is trying to join. I can
She's
see
trying
her.
to join. She's been
She's
in and
fighting.
out,
she's
and
she's swimming
yes,
she's
so
swimming against the tide, and she is
she's
a strong
trying.
woman. She is
Mm-hmm.
resilient. But
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Joy is leading, and I'll just probably talk around a little bit of what I know she's doing. And Marie, I know you know as well, so you can feel free to add in. She's doing tremendous work in the area of children and diversity, women empowerment. She has a Power Woman magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So she's doing a lot of different things. Yeah, Marie, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, she's been trying, but we have actually Chicas here. Hey Chicas, thanks for joining in. We're trying to get Professor Joy to stay with us, but the connection is not helping us. So bear with us. She'll be back. We're not gonna give up, and I'm so happy to see you here. So I see that
She's
Professor is
back.
back. So
Yay.
Oh my
so let
goodness.
Let's pass it over to you. The baton is yours. Run with it.
the baton is yours. So we will not give up. We're here. So no problem.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm Professor Joy Onyesoh. I'm from Nigeria. I live in Nigeria, so you can understand why we're having difficulties with the network connection. Um,
Mhm,
I'm also the international president of Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. It's the oldest women's peace organization in the world. We're over 105 years, and I'm the first African to hold that position. I'm the country director of the same organization in country. I am also the CEO of the Power Woman magazine. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
president and founder of Joy Onyesoh Foundation. So through the Joy Onyesoh Foundation, I do a lot of things on the ground. It's purely a charity organization. So we
Mm-hmm.
focus on indigent children, indigent women. We have a food bank for indigent women and children. We have the Leave No Child Behind project where we cater
Mm-hmm.
to indigent children across different states. So, yeah, I do a lot of things, but one common trend with all I do is my passion for empowering women. And so
Mm-hmm.
my deepest desire is to inspire women to greatness and to expand the spaces for women to participate in, and
Mm-hmm.
also for women to break through any challenge that they have, knowing that they have the agency to do all
Mm-hmm.
that vision.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, I mean, we are in a special era right now. I mean, with the pandemic, things changing, all the time, and you doing empowerment work and going to to the trenches. How did it affected your work, and how do you make sure that you still present and still helping those communities that you're serving? So it looks like we've lost Professor Joy again. So, hi, Professor Joy. Can you hear
Uh,
me?
yeah, thank you. Yes, I
Mhm.
can hear you very well. I don't know if you can hear me.
So, yeah, you're back. At
Can you
some
hear
point,
me?
I couldn't. I can hear you, yes.
Oh, oh, great. That's a very fantastic question. You're speaking to how I've managed to remain relevant in this
Mm-hmm.
changing world, bearing in mind everything else happening and then the global pandemic. So it's been, I would say it's been a reflective, inspiring, and also quite challenging, because when COVID happened, it's like the world
Mm-hmm.
came literally to a halt. There was so much confusion, uncertainty. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
even understand what was really happening. Then there was also that fear factor. When you don't understand something, the tendency is you fear, you tend to feel a
Mm-hmm.
lot of fear, and then you resist. And so for the work that we do on the ground, of course, we had to halt. The first thing we did was to shut down our office because we didn't even really
Mm-hmm.
understand what happened. And I had come into the country then from New York, so I was also in
Mm-hmm.
isolation. So I had to go into isolation for 2 weeks. And in that period of isolation, I went into deep reflection to say, okay, so what is happening? How is this affecting me as a person?
Mm-hmm.
The isolation period really helped me to, to really
So we've lost Professor again. It looks like the connection is very, very challenging. Um, so So we'll try. We keep trying. So don't give up. We're still trying. We're still trying to have Professor back. She's hello, Professor. Can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me? So it looks like we have to go for a small break before we can get all the ladies back. I've lost my guest and I love my my co-host. So it's a full it's a full house. It's not a full house today, but we'll get there. And let's go for a break, and we'll be back pretty soon. So I'm back. I'm alone. I've lost my co-host. I've lost my guest, but it's not the end of the world. And today we're talking about staying relevant. And it's not always an easy thing to do. And as Professor was explaining, the first thing when we had COVID is, the panic. People started to panic, and the next by the time you realize the panic becomes a fear, and people are scared of what they don't see, and it can paralyze us. And we really need to understand and to calm down in a way, and start to look at things from on a on different from different angles, because sometimes when we just stick to one way of looking at things, that's when we get stuck, and that's when we get stuck into the fear, and we don't progress. So it's important to have this this different perspective, and look at it from a different point of view. So we have Professor back, and she will continue where she left so far.
You, me. The network is really challenging, but I'll persevere. I know my sister
No,
Marielle
we
is
will we will persevere. Don't worry, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
saying. So, I'm saying that the isolation period I went through after my return back into the country, that's Nigeria, gave me the time to really re-strategize and
Hmm.
look at ways of moving forward, bearing in mind the new realities. So we learned how
Hmm.
to house, and we now started. That was actually that period actually gave birth to the food bank project that
Hmm.
we had, because
Hmm.
we realized that a lot of women were also at home, and you know that in Nigeria and most African countries,
Hmm.
most of the women are sustained on daily income. So just imagine the lockdown. They can't go out to earn a living. Then you can imagine how difficult
Hmm.
the home been at that time. And then there was also the increase of the gender-based violence in the home, because they were
Hmm.
locked in days with nothing to do, and then with some in some cases violent partners. And so we felt that one way we could support in our own little way
Hmm.
was to give. So that kick-started that project, going around different communities. We're very careful of the COVID protocol. So we're also using the
Hmm.
opportunity to create awareness on COVID-19, to say, okay, this is what it is. It is not, because then the thing was, most people were saying, oh, it's political. There is no COVID. And
Hmm.
so opportunity to educate them on COVID. We're also
Hmm.
providing soaps for them. We're providing soaps, and then we're giving them little stipend, just to sustain them and food. So that really expanded the way we started working. And then we
Hmm.
realized that we could work more efficiently using virtual tools. So the use of technology, we had to learn new skills. We really had to learn new skills. We had to look at what technology exists out there that could support the work we do, so that we
Hmm.
don't obsolete, so that we still remain relevant in all of this that is happening, and we can still deliver the services that we would give out to people. That gave birth to the Friday night hangouts, where we said, okay, let's use virtual tools. We can always hang out every Friday night without
Hmm.
actually coming together in the same space, but we'll still be in a virtual space. We get to
Hmm.
teach, we get to take questions, interact, and just feel that safe space of fun, okay, I'm
Hello.
back.
Can you hear me? Hello, Professor. It is. I can't hear you. It's completely cut.
Another
Hello. Yeah, the
yeah.
internet. We're really fighting the internet. Can you
Can
hear
you?
me? Okay, we lost Professor again, and But I have lots of videos, so it's actually helping to be able to have those videos and really have a good break as well to give Professor time to sort out our connection. So don't go anywhere. We will be back.
Here it is, Collect the Cash. It is the #1 must-have book for cash collections as a business owner. The book, Collect the Cash, will teach you how to stop leaving money on the table. After all, collections are uncomfortable for everyone. Customers are dodging collection calls. See, what had happened was, and the sale is not complete until the money is in the bank. But you must collect it first. So go ahead and grab your copy now at www.collectthecash.biz/books. Grab your book today and stop leaving money on the table.
So I'm back. So we're struggling with the connection. So I see that Professor is back, and we should be able to continue our conversation just now. So we're not giving up. She's back, and we're gonna continue where she left us. So just on time after the video. That's perfect.
Thank you so much. And I was saying that, getting to learn new technology, really helps in remaining relevant. So we're able to deliver across virtual platforms. And that helped us to close the gap, you know, that arose from lack of opportunity to meet in person. So we started looking at new spaces, and just that process, you know,
Mm-hmm,
in really making us to look deep into our work as an organization, as also as individuals, to say, okay, what skill sets do we have? What
mm-hmm,
value are we adding to this process? Sometimes we really underestimate ourselves and the agencies that we have. And
mm-hmm,
when things like life has happened now with the global pandemic, it becomes very important that we do not give up hope. We
mm-hmm,
just know that we have strong agency, and we just need to look inside of us and look at the past trends. What
mm-hmm,
value adding or have we added to process it? What new skills have we learned, and what can we learn? And then you can now look at areas where you see gap. You can now start thinking of, oh, who do I need to collaborate or network with? Collaboration is the new currency right now. I'm on this
mm-hmm,
platform. What is doing what it has the privilege that's given to me is that I'm able to talk to your audience, to your tribe,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes I also had you on the Friday night hangouts as well. So collaboration is really the new currency moving forward. And you need to stay relevant in the now and in the future, you need to learn how to network, connect, and collaborate. Knowing that
Mm-hmm.
you can't do it all, you don't have it all. There's a part of you that fits into some other person. I keep
Mm-hmm.
saying we're not meant to be independent. We were created to be interdependent, meaning that
Mm-hmm.
something of yours, a skill set or a value you bring to the table, I need to be able to connect with you and
The We're
if
struggling again
we
with the.
must stay relevant
Mhm.
in
So it's a shame because the conversation is really beautiful, and we the connection is not really good. But we're not going to give up. We really need to hear from Professor today and have, her share strategies and tool, to remain relevant in this very volatile and ever-changing world, and to discover, like she said, the skills that we have and repurpose them to stay relevant in this new setting and in this new world with living with the pandemic, because we there's no way that we're gonna give up. We need to keep going. We need to start to identify where we can still create value. We need to identify where the collaboration and the partnership that's going to help us create a win-win situation, but create a positive impact for the community that we intend to serve. So that's a key one. And I hope that you understand you understand how important it is right now to and she talked about pivoting to understand the importance of the digital right now. Yet we can't network one-on-one, but we can still do it on a digital platform. And we have Professor back here. She should be able to continue giving us some insight on how to stay relevant. Okay, it looks like Professor it's still, having problems. So what we gotta do is have another video and give her time to come back and talk to us again.
It's the key to life. It makes it possible for us to get out the door, challenge ourselves, and find joy. There are few things more important than our health. Throughout history, there have been breakthroughs in health technology that have made our lives longer, more vibrant, more joyful. Breakthroughs that have fundamentally changed how we think, learn, and live.
This is where the future lies, and this is why redox chemistry and supplements that employ this are so powerful.
They literally turn on and turn off, signal every single process in every living cell. And to be able to stabilize a product that allows us to replenish that is just a phenomenal breakthrough.
This has the capability to change the landscape of the healthcare system as we know it.
What if one of the biggest breakthroughs in health technology was actually something small? A breakthrough technology that works at the cellular level, where health begins.
This truly is a transformational technology. It's an elegant and very simple product that's having a profound impact. When people ask me what I'm most excited about, it's the fact that we own the space of redox right now.
A health technology so unique and cutting edge that it is transforming health at a foundational level and changing lives all over the world.
I started using the product and I could see that it was real. It was a real deal.
And the way it changed my life was absolutely mind-blowing.
ASEA was something truly special. It was unique.
It has had tremendous impact on my life.
You know, sometimes you just have that kind of feeling that you're just going to take a leap of faith, and that's what I did.
And that became a defining moment where I started sharing it with everyone.
Life-changing. I mean, it gave me my life back. In one word, it's profound.
A technology that empowers the most basic building blocks of your body to thrive. ASEA Redox.
So we are back. We are back with Professor. We're not giving up. She's
No.
here, and we will go through it, and nobody can stop us.
Yeah.
Nobody can stop us, so no problem. I hope, chicas, you're still here and you're patient enough to continue to follow the conversation. And because it's interesting, but the technology doesn't want us to listen to what Professor wants to share with us today. So over to you, Professor.
Okay, thank you, Mireille. And one of the lessons that I learned during this period is the need for an online presence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, times in the past, it was something I took for granted. But, with the lockdown, then we moved into the semi-lockdown, and then, we're up and about, but still with some restrictions. The online space is a powerful space.
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage each of us to learn how to leverage on the online platform if you want to remain relevant, because that is it's where it's all happening right now. A lot of conferences have moved to the online space. A lot of just for instance, in a few seconds ago, you showed an advert on this virtual platform. A whole
Mm-hmm.
lot of innovation and creativity is happening in the virtual world, and we just need to leverage on it. So what skill set you need to leverage on that, please, is something that you need to look deep inside of you and invest. There's some free classes, a whole lot of free classes going on, and you will do well to take some of these. For some, you might need to pay some money. That means investing in your future. That's the way I see it. And it has an ROI, that is a return on
Mm-hmm.
investment, which is so
Mm-hmm.
huge. And you know network again. What kind of network do you have? So for some of us, we network, we connect, but we are not very intentionally building our social capital. Now,
Mm-hmm.
in this day and age, where we need sometimes finance to move ahead, you don't necessarily need to take a loan from the
Mm-hmm.
bank. If you have a high worth of social network, then you could do a lot with it. They could either contribute in kind or in our integrity and our credibility.
Yeah, still but we're not gonna give up. She will be back, and we will go through all the recommendation that she has for us today. She talked about investing in time and money in our social, in our future. So build our social capital, be intentional in the networking work that we do. And to add to that, for me, is you have to network, to have 360 networks. So you have to network, in your niche. You can network upstream. You can network downstream. You can network laterally. Don't limit yourself. Get to learn from people, because by networking, you get to know, you get to learn from people. But if you network with people who have exactly the same skills and who look like you, you're always going to stay at the same, at the same level. So you need to expand your network. You need to be strategic. You need to be intentional, and have in mind to go to the next level of your greatness, to go to the next level of your of your growth, because you have to continue to grow. And I think that's what this pandemic is forcing into us. It's forcing us to grow, because a lot of us, we were stuck where we were comfortable, and we didn't actually, plan anything. We didn't we were not ready to stretch ourselves. And I think what this pandemic has showed us is that we have to be ready at any time to stretch ourselves, and we have to be ready at any time to re-strategize, because things are changing. It's We live in a what I call a VUCA world. So VUCA standing for volatile, uncertain, and complex, and ambiguous. So we really need to be ready for that. So Professor is back, and she will continue where she left, and we are progressing. That's good.
That's very important. Thank you for your. I was, I was talking about the need for, credibility on the space, on the virtual space. More than ever, it's a currency that you cannot joke with. A lot of people would trust you in this virtual space to deliver on certain things. I don't know how many of us have seen this. We see these graphics all the time on Facebook or Instagram. Say what I ordered versus what I got, using the virtual space and this current situation to defraud a number of people. And I want us to be very intentional. Honestly, we need to be intentional about what we can do. And that's why it's very important that you understand your unique value proposition. And that is the value you bring into a room. Yes, sometimes we hear people say, fake it till you make it. I don't belong to that school of thought. I would rather say, expand your mindset, expand your skill set till you get there. That patience is a virtue, and don't be in a hurry. Every journey has a number of steps you need to take. Be willing to start with just that baby step, that's one step, and be committed to playing full out. Times are changing. You can't give up. You just need to remain inspired. And being on a show like this, keeping it real, you just need to be on shows like this. You need to connect with people who can, pump up your energy level and also your reflections, so that you don't feel and you just don't feel alone. One thing this pandemic has taught us is we can stay alone, but we are not alone. So we can connect across different communities, different countries, and it feels as if we're in the same room. I'm in Nigeria, my sister is in far away country, and here we are just as if we are just a touch away. So that's one of the things this current reality has really emphasized and revalidated. And so that's been so helpful for me as an individual and for my organization.
And it's important to point it out, because it's the pandemic today, but there's going to be something else. So we have to know the process, and be ready at any time to change again, because it's a never changing world. It's the uncertainty is there, and it's complex. So we have to be ready to for anything. And we can't give up, like you said. I mean, giving up just, it's not going to bring us anywhere. So we have to keep trying and reevaluate ourselves when things are changing, and reposition ourselves better to be able to stay relevant in the new setting. That this disturbance or this uncertainty is bringing. But I mean, you obviously you have all those strategies, and you've been able, but there's always resistance, and yeah, there's always resistance. So how do you deal with, especially in your own organization, with people who are resisting? Do you leave them behind, or how do you cope with that?
I have a slogan, leave no one behind. Um, I've come to find out from experience that oftentimes people resist change because they don't understand the change. So one of the ways I've been able to navigate this is, before any change is introduced in the organization, we have a team meeting. We discuss about it. We look at the pros and cons. We look at gaps, in implementation. We also look at what skill sets are required and where we are with different skill sets. Then we do an individual appraisal because it's not a one cap fits all. We look at who is suited for a particular role, even though you're supposed to be doing something else, because we all learn at different levels. So perhaps I'm the financial manager, but I've learned a number of skills in social media marketing, which is what we see many people doing today, multitasking, learning new skills, and all of those. So we find out who would best suit this current reality, and then we have training. So training is key. We just completed a round of training last week, identifying the gaps, the knowledge gaps, and then trying to look at ways of closing that gaps, having dialogues, training to close that gaps, and then always constantly leaving that space for people to feel comfortable enough to say, you know what, I don't understand this, I don't feel comfortable with this. Then you now need to find out what really is the situation. That's one scenario. The other scenario is you have some individuals who have a scarcity mindset. So they're so focused on the past and the present, and they don't want to move forward, and they allow themselves to be so limited. So you need to know when to let go, and you need to know what's gap.
So we're almost getting there. Strong point from Professor is, the mindset. She mentioned the mindset, which is very important. That people who have the scarcity mindset. So it's important to, and she was talking about, it's important to let go at some point, of the past and some of the present thing that that challenge you, and really be focused on having the right mindset to keep going, because otherwise you are left behind, because that's what you focus on. You focus on what you left behind, you focus on what you've lost, and there's no way you can progress further. So make sure you just let go of what you've lost, let go of the people that that are not following. Let go and focus on the thing that are coming ahead, in front of you, and really have this mindset of telling yourself, this will end as well. It's not here to stay forever. I mean, it's just a timing thing. It will end, so be ready for when it will end, and focus on this end, the end of the tunnel, reaching the end of the tunnel, instead of staying stuck where you are, and staying stuck in the past. That's really an important point to note here. So we are back. Hey, that give me the opportunity to summarize and emphasize the points that you that are coming across. So that's good timing and good synchronization. So go ahead. So you were talking about the scarcity mindset of certain people that limit them.
For certain people, they have the scarcity mindset, and it really affects the way they understand issues, they relate with issue, and that really can be a huge distraction. So this is where you, as the the leader, need to take some very far-reaching decisions. Do you think with this individual, it's something you want to invest the time and resources to try to bring the person out of that space? There has to be a lot of appraisals that have gone into this. Or is it something might drown you and the organization if you tend to go into it. So, and this is where staff appraisal becomes very key. And I would always say this even before, oftentimes we find people, we employ them, and then try to create job descriptions to suit them. But I would say if you step back and look at what do your business need, or what do your organization need, and then start looking for the right set of people to bring into that space, then that works really well. But if you're already in the space where you have such people, you didn't go through that process. Setting out periodic intervals, especially at this time when you need to do staff appraisal, is very key. And sometimes it helps if there's a personal touch to it. For some persons, they just need you to reach out and just show them that you care, that you have their welfare at the center, everything, and that could also make a lot of difference. But like I said, it's not a one cap size fits all. It's something you need to do a case by case analysis to know how best to move forward when there is a resistance. But generally, this would really work.
And I like that, because sometimes leaders don't take time, because especially when they are in a crisis. It's about, we have to move, we have to solve this problem, and they become very impatient. And yet what you say is that, sometimes with some of your staff, and for the good of the organization, you have to take time, you have to stop, you have to listen to them, you have to understand what they can still bring, in the organization, and not leave them behind. And that's sometimes the key challenge that some leaders or some managers face, to be able to stay relevant, and keep being in the business space, because it's a matter of survival at the end of the day, when we see all of this. And that's why, by stopping, even if you are in survival mode, you have time to really think through, and look at things properly. And that's what, I think that's what's going to help you to stay relevant, because if you're just following the crisis and all the chaos, it's very it's very difficult to get something constructive, really. And we see that with a lot of lockdown. I mean, there are countries doing lockdown because they see other people doing, but you have to look at your own reality first, and see if it's relevant for you and for your economy, because you can't just copy Europe, or copy developed countries and apply it to developing country. It doesn't work like that. So
Exactly. Yeah, we saw that a lot in Nigeria, when during the lockdown, you're locking down, and in so many communities in the rural areas, and even in the semi-urban areas, you have 10, 11, 6 people living in the same room, maybe just a small apartment. So how can they do social distancing in that? So, we need at our own homegrown solution to some of these issues, and not just copy and model things that are being done in the West. We just need to look at, and same thing for individuals and for organizations. You don't just copy and paste. You need to really look at as an individual. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And I always talk about a SWOT analysis, a self-audit, organizational audit, to really know what your capacities are, what the gaps are, and then really look for solutions that could be very inclusive if it's an organization. But if it's for the individual, then you start looking at yourself to say, okay, how can I move forward in a way that truly allows me to be me? That's the way that sustainable. But when you want to move forward in a way that you're copying someone else, you're modeling someone else, it becomes very difficult, because it may be a different perspective from, and then the person is into you. You are unique. No individual, they're all uniquely created, and you need to give yourself that room to just do you. I'm not saying be you, but do you, because doing you is different from you. Doing you is much more active. You're really living your reality and understanding yourself and playing full out, so that you can be all that you've been created to be.
Fantastic. So, I mean, what are the key lessons for you, not only, at the individual level, but also at the, the business level? What are the key lessons that you think have come out of this pandemic, and how did you, if it was a challenge, how did you address that?
The first key lessons for me at the organizational personal level is a reinforcement of change. That change is very constant. And so be prepared at every point in time to change, to change to meet the current reality and still remain relevant, because that's the key thing. You want to be sustainable, either as a business brand or a personal brand. You want to be sustainable in all that we do. So building sustainability components into whatsoever we're doing at organizational, individual level is very key. How do I ensure that what I decided to do today is something I can keep repeating and upskilling, just evaluating, closing the gaps and upskilling? For me, that is very key. And also flexibility. Rigidness would not solve anything. You need to give yourself that room to bend, to stop, to twist, to hold on, to halt when there's need for that.
Okay. Are you back? Hello? Hello? I think we're losing. We are almost there. We're not going to give up. We are almost there. So we will not give up. It's coming back.
That is a keep happening.
Okay, so we will be back. We will have her back. And thanks, Chicas, again. Yes, so many powerful points. No wonder the network is shaking. Yes, it's the network cannot take it. But we're going to have just another break, and we'll be back with Professor, hopefully, with us.
The United Nations is an organization with goals of peace and sustainable development around the world. Their mission is huge, but we're breaking it down in 2 minutes. 17 sustainable development goals. Let's get to them, cause the more you know. Look, in some corners of the world today, people are living on $1 a day. Hey, that's not how it ought to be. So goal 1, eliminate poverty. And goal 2, root out hunger across the globe. There's 800 million people hungry, if you want to know. Number 3 is health and well-being, and getting people the health care that they need in. Learning in school are the hard to go for. Education opens up minds and doors. Goal number 5 is empower girls and women so they can have the same rights that men are given. Number 6, people need water that's clean. Poor sanitation can spread disease. Carbon-free energy is goal number 7, and how to achieve it is the question that's pressing. But if we put our minds together and work hard, we can find a solution, I'm guessing. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. Now imagine that you work all day for no pay. Economic growth and decent work is goal 8. Goal number 9 is to foster innovation in infrastructure and industrialization. Goal number 10, inequality reduction. 11 is sustainable city construction. 12, well, that's sustainable consumption. So what we use matches up with production. Goal 13 calls for urgent action to combat climate change, cause we know what's happening. 14, protect life under seas. 15, protect life on land. Goal 16 is for peace and justice. All over the planet, they're in high demand. And the final goal, number 17, is the critical factor, the heart of the machine. It's the strength in the way we achieve these goals of sustainable development around the globe. Yo, 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it.
So yeah, she is back. So we are gonna continue with our conversation and hopefully get the opportunity to conclude on staying relevant and really leave the platform with some tools, strategies, and lesson learned from Professor Joy. And we just need her back for the last minutes, and we should be done with the show. So here she is. So hey, so technology, you're not gonna beat us. It's the last part, and we have her, so that's cool. So we were on the learning of what the pandemic helped you to learn.
Yes, and finally, I would say two things: visibility and also the importance of family. So, for visibility, the pandemic taught me that you can't afford to be hidden. If you've got value to share, please share it visibly with everyone. You never know who's going to benefit from your story, from your experience, from your skill set, and is your gift to the world. So you don't have to stay hidden. Let your light shine so that it shines and lights up the pathways of another. That is part of the reason why we're alive today. So we're not just meant to exist for ourselves. We're meant to exist as the light for some other people. And then finally, family, staying
So the internet doesn't want to leave us, to give us some breathing space for professor to continue. Dr. Joy was talking about the family. She was talking about the family, and it's an important, and I agree with her because we used to take our family for granted, and it was about us, and really not appreciating what they the role that they play in our lives. And for me, it has been a huge shift in understanding how valuable my family is and how grateful I should be for them, supporting me in moment of when I need them, and always be present and really being there for me. So the family is important, and you really stay connected. Make sure you have quality time with your family, and this is gonna help you to get the inspiration to continue. Yes, she's back. So we talked about the family, the importance of the family in the process, And that was one of
Mm-hmm.
the learning point, really, being grateful about them, being present, them being here to support us. And that's very important, because sometimes we took those things for granted, and now we realize how important they are. So just to so because I think the connection is still, fighting us,
Yeah.
just to close on that. So what is the message that you really want to leave us with today, as far as staying relevant is concerned?
Yeah, the key message I want to leave with us today is there are limitless opportunities, but you need to give yourself the permission to experience those opportunities. You also need to learn how to handle rejection in a positive way. And no simply means a yes to another open door. So
Mhm.
don't let that dissuade you. Keep your focus, never give up, and just do you. Simply do
Mhm.
you. Stand
Mhm.
out and do you.
Fantastic. So it has been with one, we got the message, we got all the strategies, we got, the inspiration from Professor Joy. So we are happy that we've been able to have this conversation despite the technical issue, but that's not a problem. We're going to focus on the positive, and we're going to focus on the message. And that's the most important at this stage. And I really thank you, Professor Joy, for taking the time and for being persistent to try to beat, the technology today. We've been able to learn a lot from you. We've been able to understand how to remain relevant, and I hope that the audience is feeling the same with me. I really, like the message. Do you, and give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to stay relevant. At the end of the day, it's about you giving yourself permission. There's nothing to do with other people. It starts with you. Do you? And one thing that I also Professor mentioned was to really, be ready and be gracious in accepting rejection, and keep going, and never give up. So that's I think we're gonna leave it there. I doubt that, we can go further with the connection, and we've basically reached the end of the show. And so for those who have questions, or want to make any comment, please do go in the comment section, and participate. And for those who are gonna watch the replay, same, just, put whatever you think. And if you need to connect with Dr. Joy, I don't know why I call her Dr. Professor Joy, um, we'll make sure to connect you. Because like she said, it's important to be visible. We never know who we can inspire. We never know who we actually helping. So that's just what it's all about. Those show, we're bringing them for you. We're bringing you the best. We're bringing you the people who are relevant for this time, to help you in any challenge or any issue that you're going through, or to just inspire you to go to the next level if you're already you're kind of stuck at a certain level. So thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in, chicas. I hope that, and I commend you for staying through. It's been a great, a great show in the end, despite the technology, and we've learned a lot from Professor. So for me, it's gonna be bye bye, but we're gonna be back next month with another episode of Getting Real with Sabeeta and Mireille. And Sabeeta couldn't make it. I think they had a power outrage in Houston. It's been terrible the last the last few weeks. So hopefully by next month, we're all going to be back and ready to serve you and to share with you important information and important strategies and tools that you can use to apply in the real, in your life, and stay real and get real with us. So bye bye and see you next month.